So, hello everyone. Thanks for welcome to the session. Today we have our special guest with us, Ravi Shankar sir, and he'll be talking about intro to cloud computing. And on the behalf of Azure Developer Community, I welcome you all here in the session. We are going to take you from college to cloud. And let me introduce a bit about Ravi Shankar sir. He's corporate trainer. He train experts, and he's Microsoft certified trainer as well. And you can just authenticate how good he is in Azure ML. And he's Azure AI engineer, associate cloud ML engineer, and he's AI/ML trainer at CloudDet also. So he's multi-phase personality, having expertise in AI/ML field, in cloud Azure field, Microsoft Azure field. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Lekshit, for the nice introduction, and thanks for this opportunity uh, and for the coding minutes. Thanks a lot for the opportunity given. So, uh, Lekshit has already given an introduction about me. So, I have been into this academic field for the past 8 or 9 years. So when even though I was into the academic field, whenever I get an opportunity to engage in trainings, especially in programmings like programming languages like Python, or in AI, delivering AI sessions, machine learning sessions, deep learning sessions, whenever I get an opportunity, I used to deliver it. So then I thought, why couldn't I jump to industry? So then there arose the need of learning cloud technologies. So that's AI. I realized that AI alone is not enough. We wanted to have cloud and AI clubbed together. So that's why uh, I have learned have obtained few cloud certifications, the Microsoft Azure AI Engineer Associate, Google ML Cloud Engineer Associate, and still there are more certifications in my pipeline. So that will be soon acquiring. So here we are going to give you a glance about all this cloud concept, right? So it's more going to be a practical kind of thing rather than theoretical. Obviously, I will talk about the theory first, but uh, I will be demonstrating how it is actually there in Microsoft Azure portal. So what all things you have learned, you probably might have learned in your college days or school days regarding the cloud computing concepts. So today we'll be realizing everything in terms of Microsoft Azure Cloud, right? So before starting the session, I just need to, I just want a quick feedback. I mean, quick your expectation. I just need to know your expectation from this course. So I'll be sharing a link so that you can tell what is the level of expertise that you already have on cloud, and what is your expectation from this course, or from this session. All right. So I have the link there in the chat window, so lectures will be pasting there. Yes. So let me share my screen also. All right. So I hope you can see my screen, right?
Uh, yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So all of you can. Uh, I hope the link is also available. So all of you can give your level of expertise on Azure Cloud. So we'll be talking everything in terms of Azure Cloud. Obviously, we'll give an introduction to cloud computing. Then we'll be talking everything in terms of Azure Cloud. So you can give a level of your level of expertise on Azure Cloud. Uh, Either you can go to that Mentimeter and use the code 83981203 to give your answers. Lakshit, I hope the link is there. Yeah.
Yes, sir, I have already shared the link. Yes, I have already shared the link.
All right. Yeah, the results did not get updated. That's why you just asked. Yes. Normally, the results will come uh, as soon as possible, right? So if you're prompted to put this code, you can actually put this code. Maybe I can give you the link once again. If that link is not working, you can go with this. Yes. So I have pasted a new link there, so you can, because I couldn't get the answers, any answers updated. So it'd be nice if I get some answers. Can I get a response? Like, is the link working or any issues?
I guess there it's asking for sign up, so that's why it's taking a little bit time. So people are, I guess, signing up with
There is no need to sign up actually. You can give a code 83981203 and you
okay,
can
okay.
give your, yeah, there is a code available. You can see that on the screen 83981203. Yeah, now I am getting the response there. All right. So since there was a delay in response, that's why I just inquired whether any problem was there in the link. Yeah, we got few mixed kind of response at the beginning level and then in the intermediate level. Uh, Two guys will respond so far, so I'm expecting or anticipating more responses from the crowd so that we can move forward. Anyone still facing an issue? Because I got only two responses so far. Yeah, now three responses. You can paste this code, like if a prompt any code to be pasted, you can paste this 83981203 code there and post your answers. No need to log in actually. You can directly paste this code and answer rather than login is not required. All right, I got few responses. Do I have to wait for a few more lectures so that, hmm, or shall I move ahead with the second presentation, second slide, because there seems to be a lot of delay.
So we can just move ahead. Like people are doing this. I guess. Okay, so this is the new link, guys. With the along with the code, you have to go with this link. Some people are confused with the link. Don't go with the first link. I'm just deleting the first link.
Yeah,
Go check it.
probably the second link. Sorry, first link there was a problem with the first link. Second link is the correct one. This one.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. So go with the second link, guys. It's perfect.
and if it asks for a code, you can paste this code 83981203 that you see on the screen. That you can paste it there. All right. So far we have got only 5 responses. Yeah, now it's increasing to 7. So out of the 7 responses, what I got, I could feel that most of you are at the beginner level, right? So shall I go to the next slide actually? If you were able to mark, shall I go to the next slide?
Yes, sir. We can move ahead. Like people's will be most of the students are beginner in the cloud field.
Yeah, yeah. Then now you can see this slide where you can actually tell your expectation from the session. So what do you expect? Like uh, whatever is your expectation, you can write there. You can write in text. So this is anonymous completely. We don't know who is going to type, right? So it's completely anonymous. We can type anything, right? Whatever. What is your expectation from the session? Yeah, you can type. They're not going to track you because it's completely anonymous. You don't even have to sign up or log in for filling this, right? Yeah. So I could get one answer there, that is basics of cloud. You can tell, you can type anything. What is your expectation from this session?
So those who are confused about this link, you have to go with the same link. So
Yeah,
there is
same link.
nothing. Yeah, same link you have to follow on. Okay.
It's the same link. Just have to go to the second slide. That's all. Yeah. Now we are getting a lot of yeah, the workflow, basics of cloud, guidance to it, understanding. Yeah, great. I'm getting enough comments. Yes. All right. Now we got 4 comments. I guess it's a time to move forward because we spend around 10 minutes. Yeah. You can Now we are getting a lot of few more responses, right? 5 people have responded so far. All right. So this is anonymous completely. You can type anything, so no one will notice who has typed. All right. So we will start the session because we already lost 10 minutes, right? We wanted to have a your expectation and your level of knowledge. That's why I just posted this poll. All right. Now, thank you all for this your wonderful time for hosting this. So we are going to start. Okay. I'm not going to bore you with my PPTs, I tell you. So I will straight away switch to Microsoft Azure portal and tell you all these things, right? And yeah, I will clarify all your doubts also. So please don't think that this is going to be a boring kind of PPT session, so that it's not going to happen, right? Yeah, here in this session, what we are going to learn is we are going to learn about public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud, right? So what these three things are. Then we will talk about the cloud benefits. What are the benefits that you get out of cloud, and what are the cloud considerations that you have to do. And these you might have already learned in your college days or school days, IaaS, right? PaaS. These are infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service, right? And so these things you might have already heard in your theory topic. So that we will be realizing all these things today. Then what is it? Sharing responsibility, right? In cloud. So these are going to be the things that we will be seeing in this 1 hour session. All right. Now first we talk about the different cloud models. Uh, Here we talk about we'll define what cloud computing is. Then we go for the three types of cloud, that is public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. And we'll be comparing all these three things, these different modules, right? So when I talk about cloud computing, so it is a delivery of computing services over internet, right? So you talk about the major cloud service providers. It will be Microsoft Azure, right, or Amazon AWS, or Google Cloud Platform GCP, or even IBM is having cloud, Oracle is having. So or Alibaba is there, right? So these are you can call them as a major service providers, especially the first three, right? So what you get, they will be providing you computing services over internet, right? And it'll enable you to have the faster innovation, flexible resources, and economies of scale. All these things we'll be seeing in this session, right? How we can achieve all these things, right? And when you talk about this computing services, it is not about compute alone. What is compute is talks about the CPU, right? The virtual machines, the virtual machine, or we call it as a VMs, like what is the configuration of your CPU? Maybe having some Intel dual core processor, or AMD processor, right? And that is all about the configuration of your CPU. So here in cloud, you will be getting all those things. You don't have to buy anything. Physical resources not needed. You'll be getting all those uh, resources in the form of virtual machines, right? So we talk about the computing resources. Then we talk about the networking resources. We call it as a virtual private network, right? VPN. We're talking about that. So here also you can save a lot of money in buying these networking resources. Instead of that, you can use the cloud provided resources. And then this is another wonderful thing that most of you are already aware about, right? So we talk about Google. We use Google Drive, right? Most of you are using this. They are giving you some 14 GB free space, right? And these things, OneDrive is there from Microsoft. They're giving you some 5 GB, I guess, right? Free space. Similarly, there are free spaces, free storage spaces provided by these major cloud service providers. But in addition to this, we'll talk about the different types of storage here, right? So you can have the image storage, especially dedicated to images like blob, right? Blob means binary large object files. So you can also have the table storage. So all these things we'll be seeing in detail in this session. And you can also go for analytics. This is the area now, right? People are talking about, right, the analytics part. So whenever there is data available, right, you can definitely go for analytics. So all these things you can get it in cloud computing, right? And when it comes to the different models of cloud computing, you already know about the public cloud. So public cloud means it is owned by some cloud services or hosting providers like the Azure, GCP, and AWS. They're all public clouds, right? So they provide the resources and services to multiple organizations and users, and it's access using a secure network, right? Secure network connection, and you have this private cloud. So private cloud means you bring all the things into your premises. Into your premises, you have the cloud. You are not using anything on the cloud service provider side. So you're using everything on your premise, right? So organizations create a cloud environment in their own data center or on premise. So that is what the private cloud is all about. An organization is responsible for operating the services they provide, and does not provide access to users outside the organization. Let's say you have an organization A, and there are more employees who are using the resources of A. Let's say you have an organization B, so there is an employee D of this organization trying to access the resources provided by this organization A. This is not possible here in private cloud. All right. So that is what private cloud is all about. Now, hybrid means you will be comparing both the things. So few services of the public cloud will be taken, and in addition to that, we'll be having a private cloud also, right? So so that we can allow the application to run in most appropriate locations. You can place it wherever the data center you want, and some extra cloud services you'll be using, so that are going to be a part of this public cloud. So that is what these are the three different models that you are already aware about in your theory classes. We'll be seeing more into this today. Now, what is the basic comparison that you get in public cloud? When you're using public cloud, there is no capital expenditures to scale up, right? We call it as capex, capital expenditures. There is nothing, right? You don't have to spend any money at all for buying any servers. You don't have to buy any server. You don't have to buy any networking devices, right? All those things you don't have to buy, and the application can be quickly provisioned and deprovisioned depending upon your need. You can provision the applications, or you can release them, right? And the organizations only go for pay only for what they use. This is the most advantage of having this cloud computing, especially the public cloud. Pay only for what you use, right? Whether it is Azure, whether it is AWS, whether it is GCP, pay only for what you use. And when it comes to private cloud, the hardware must be purchased from the startup and maintenance, right? For startup and maintenance. So you have to purchase the hardware. That is the difference here. In public cloud means you don't have to purchase the hardware at all, right? So here there is expense involved. The capital expense is involved here. The organizations, but what is advantage here is the organization has a complete control over the resource and security. The organization is managing everything, and it is the responsibility of the organization to provide the hardware maintenance and updates also. All those things must be provided by the organization. But that in public cloud, the cloud service provider is taking care of all these things. It is taking care of hardware maintenance. It is taking care of updates and all those things, right? And then we have hybrid cloud, that is a mixture of those three things. It provides most flexibility. So organization will determine whether to run where to run the application, whether on public cloud or on private, right? So organization again control the security, compliance, and all other requirements. So this particular I have a slide here. Will tell you the difference between, one second. Yeah. We go to this cloud benefits and considerations. So what are the benefits when you go for cloud computing? So mainly you have this high availability. I'll give you a use case. Let's say your university XYZ is publishing a result now, right? At 5:30 p.m. The result has been published at 5:30 p.m. I don't know whether it's 5:30 p.m. already. Now, what happens is most of the people, most of the students, let's say university is having some 50,000 students. All right. So most of the students will be accessing your the result from the server, university server, right? So this result is hosted on your, let's say it is hosted on the university server. All right. So people are going to access this result. Many requests are coming. So what happens? The server may not be having the capacity to serve all these requests. That happens when you are having this on-premise server installed, so that you may not be getting the result, right? This is an experience that most of you have, isn't it? So this you can avoid with the help of cloud computing. Why? Because depending upon the demand, you can scale your resources. You can provide high availability. Availability means if even if a server goes down, right? Even if a server goes down, right? So you can have, in case of cloud computing, you can have different available zones. Availability zones are there, so that even if one zone gets a problem, so it can switch off to the second zone and work, right? So that is what high availability is all about. And scalability is what you can add resources according to the demand. You can add resources. Like, you have two types of scalability: horizontal and vertical scalability. Horizontal means, let's say you have 2 GB of RAM, so you want to add 2 more GB of RAM. Yes, this is what the vertical scalability is all about, right? Whereas horizontal means you are adding more. Let's take the case of CPUs. You add more CPUs instead of adding more things vertically. You add more things, right? More CPU instances. This is what horizontal scaling is all about. So these are the different types of scalings possible. And then you can go for this elasticity, where we talked about the resource. Depending upon the demand, you can scale or scale up or scale down the number of the resources that you need. And it provides agility and disaster recovery, every recovery. So these are the cloud benefits I'll be getting. And the difference, you can identify the difference between the capital expenditure, right? The capital expenditure, especially if you're going for public cloud, is going to be zero. Whereas when you want to install all the servers and everything on your premise, it takes a lot of capital expense, right? Whereas you need to provide the operational expenditure, but that is only for the amount of resources that you use, pay as you go model, right? And now, what are the benefits that you have? You can have the high availability, scalability, global reach, agility, disaster recovery. So most of the things that we already discussed: the fault tolerance, and the elasticity, the latency capabilities, customer latency capabilities. I can provide a resource which does not have much latency. You can also go for predicting the cost, and one of the main things, that is the security, right? So these days everything can be hacked. Like, when you put something on your server, right, the source, who knows, you have to take care of the security. But this is also a major important aspect when it comes to cloud. These are going to be the benefits that you already know, right? From your school days, right? You might have already learned. Now, what is the capital expenditure? That is the upfront spending of money on physical infrastructure. Like I mentioned, the for buying the servers, and for the networking devices, right? So these are going to be the capital expenditures. And the operational expenditure means the money that is spent on the product and services are needed. You're having a pay as you go model, right? And get the bills also, you get billed very immediately, right? So this is what operational expenditure is all about. Now I talked about a lot of theory. So here, you talk about a consumption-based model also. Consumption-based model means whenever the user is uh, consuming any resource, right? User paying only for the resources that they use. Now user doesn't have to pay for the resources that they don't use, right? And it provides better cost prediction and prices for individual resources and services. All the things are provided, and billing is actually based on the actual usage, right? So these are the basics that I can talk about when it comes to cloud. Now we are going to see this cloud services in detail, right? So you have the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service means you have to provide all the physical resources, right? Like the servers and all those things. The infrastructure resources must be provided, right? So platform as a service means the operating system level kind of things, the OS level kind of things. When you're providing these services, we call it as a platform as a service. When it comes to software as a service, the better example that you can give is the case of Google Sheets or Google Docs, or you can say Office 365, right? So you are using the software, you are not installing anything there, you are using it over the internet, right? You don't have to worry about the software at all. Then you can identify a service type based on a use case. Okay, so service type you can identify based on the use case, whatever the use case is, and based on that you can identify the service type and describe the shared responsibility model. Because it talks about shared responsibility model, right? And also I will be talking about the serverless computing, right? So you don't have to talk about the server at all. So these are the things which are going to see in this module, or the sub module, you can say. So this is about infrastructure as a service. I mentioned that you don't have to deal with the servers and storage. You want to deal with the networking, firewall, security, data center, all those things. So everything will be provided to you, right? And I'm going to give you the demo using this Azure portal, right? So because too much of theory, it's not good. So right now you can see that on my screen. Let me go to this portal.azure.com, right? So I have already a login. I have an account, right? If you don't have an account, you can create an account there. I tell you some of the resources are free to use, but the first thing is you have to have a subscription, right? So as a student, you can go for, if you're a student, you can go for GitHub developer package, right? So which will give you free subscription for 1 year, or you can, if your university is already registered in Microsoft, you can go for that also, right? So free Azure free subscription is available. So you can have multiple subscriptions. You can see that I have multiple Microsoft Developer Network MSDN platform subscriptions available, right? So here you can see the current cost of these things are available to me since I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, right? In addition to that, the Microsoft certified trainer is also provided Microsoft Azure Pass sponsorship, right? So this is another kind of subscription available for me as a MCT. But as a student, I tell you, you can go for either for using your student ID card and all those things. You can upload and you can get the free subscription for 1 year. They'll be giving you some $200 for 1 year. Otherwise, you can also do one thing. You can go for 1 month free subscription using your credit card. You can sign up with your free credit card. They will be charging you 1 or 2 rupees only. If you want to upgrade, then only I'll be costing. Otherwise, it's completely free. I have used that. All right. Now, it's about a subscription. So you should have a subscription, right? A subscription is must. All right. And then, to create a resource, before creating a resource, I tell you, you should have a resource group. You can see here resource group. I have a resource group called Lutu, right? So this resource group I have created in 2 days back. So similarly, there is another resource group named MES New. So you can have resource groups. All right. How to create a resource group? I'll tell you. I can click on this resource group. You'll come to know. Resource group means it's a collection of all the resources. So this resource group is having some key vault service. It is having some application inside service and storage account, right? So these are the services that are available inside this resource group. You can see some a machine learning service also. These are the services that is available inside this resource group. Once again, I tell you, all these 4 resources belongs to this resource group. You can also create a new resource group, right? So that's pretty simple. So how to create a resource I'm demonstrating. Please listen carefully, guys. So here we have a lot of services available. I'm going to talk to you regarding a machine learning service. So how to create a machine learning service? You can click on create, and here you can go for this machine learning service. Click on that, and then you can go for creating this machine learning service. All right. Similarly, you can go for any service. So first, when you go inside this machine learning service, you have to choose the current subscription. And if there is any resource group that is already available, you can select that. And you can also create a new resource group here, right? So I have 2 resource groups. In fact, 4 resource groups. I can select any. I can go for this MES-new also, right? And since it is a machine learning resource, I need to provide a workspace name that you can choose any name for your workspace. This is just a name only, right? You can use anything. And the location, this is what we call as a region. So whenever you are creating a resource, you have to select the region where you want to deploy this resource, right? So you can see that you have plenty of regions available: Australia, East, Brazil, South, right? These are all the different regions available. So this is what we will be seeing in theory, what a region is all about. So that time you should be able to understand what a region is. So this is a region that I should provide for the this machine learning resource, right? And then I have to create a storage account, because this machine learning resource it needs to store something, right? So a storage account is needed. So a default storage account is there. I can go with that, or I can create a new one, right? So it also requires a key vault. Key vault means it is for storing the keys. So keys are also used for getting this services. You need also to use some keys, right? So for storing all these keys, you have this securely storing all these keys. You have key vaults. You can also go for application insights. Application insights will give you some analysis, or it will give an insights about the various models that you have deployed and all, right? And then you can also go for a container registry. Container registry is something like, you put all the codes and dependencies in one packet, right? On one package, you call it as a container, right? So you can also go for that. So when I click on this review and create, it will be creating a machine learning resource, right? So that is how you create a resource. I don't want to create it now, just wanted to demonstrate you. Similarly, you can create a virtual machine. So the virtual machine, here you can go for creating this. So how do you create it? You can go for creating a resource and click here. So you can go for virtual machine by clicking on creating this. Here also you have to select a valid subscription. So this is a subscription I have chosen. So here I can go for any of these, right? I have chosen this resource group, and I can type this virtual machine name here, right? I can give any name like uh, you know XYZ, right? and and I can here also the region, I have to mention the region, right? So any region I can mention, will be East US itself. And I tell you, in a region there are multiple availability options. So availability option, availability zone is there. So there are the physically separate uh, you know regions, zones available within the region, so that when something happens, like some natural calamity happens, still you can get this resource, right? If you choose this, okay, any of this, you can go for that. And security type, you have different types of securities available, right? So you can choose those security. The standard or the basic level of security is the one which we normally go for. And then you can go for this image, where we can choose uh, the operating system. So you can go with any of these operating system, like Windows Server or Ubuntu, Debian OS. All these operating system options are available, right? And this is the size of the CPU, right? So how many CPUs that you need? You can go for 2 virtual CPUs, for and 8 GB of memory, right? All those things are available there. You can choose that. And authentication type: how do you access this virtual machine? Whether using a public SSH public key, or using a password, right? Username and password, you can choose that, right? So these, you have to also give some information about the how to how to configure the firewall, or you can say how to control the traffic to this network. You can control that also. Here you can allow the selected ports, right? You can click on this. Okay, if you click none, then there won't be any incoming connections to this particular resource. So after choosing all these things, you can go for creating a virtual machine. And I don't want to do it here, so I just wanted to demonstrate, right? You can also mention the storage type. You can, different types of storages are available here depending upon your requirement. The storage types are there, you can choose it, right? So the networking, also you can define the virtual network and the IP address. So all those stuffs you can provide for this particular virtual machine, right? So you see, whatever you have in your, whatever the machine that you have in your home, right? Right now, or the same, similarly you can create even a much more capable virtual machine here on cloud. That is the beauty of this. Not only this virtual machine, you can go for anything. So this cognitive services, I tell you, these are very much interesting. So you can go for, Microsoft is already having pre-trained AI models, right? So I'm actually working on these things, these delivering these kind of trainings, where I concentrate on this Microsoft AI 102 course, that is Azure AI Engineer Associate, where we'll be dealing with all these things like computer vision, then natural language processing, speech, and all the stuff, right? And this is a wonderful thing to have, this community services that will, Microsoft is already having pre-trained models that will help you to solve a lot of problems that are available. Even you can create your own models. For that, you'll be using the machine learning resource. You can go for your own models, right? So that is also possible here. So I hope you you got some idea regarding this Microsoft Azure portal, right? Any questions if you have, means you can put in the chat window, so that we will take it towards the end. So now I go back to the PPT because I wanted to give you some this practical exposure kind of things rather than talking too much on theory, right? So anything you want to show, you want me to show it again, you can put in the chat window so that I'll be doing it towards the end, right? If you want to create a resource also, that I haven't done because creating a resource is not required at the moment. That's why I haven't done that. All right. Now, infrastructure as a service means you pay as you go service, right? So you don't have to pay for the service or storage. So only thing is whatever you're using, right? You don't have to even think about a data center, physical plant building or anything. So whatever you're using, you just have to pay. I just showed you how to create a virtual machine, isn't it? Just now I have showed you that. So then, when it comes to platform as a service, like the operating system, we have chosen that operating system. When you talk about the virtual machine, we took some you had the options like Ubuntu, Windows Server, and all those stuff, right? So that can be also managed here. So you don't have to worry about those things, right? You simply give it to the cloud, right? It will take care. You only have to pay for what you use, right? And then finally, the software as a service. The best example I gave you, the Office 365, where you're not even installing anything on your system, you're simply using it, or the Google Sheets or the Google Docs or anything, right? So all these things are examples for SaaS, right? And then this is a comparison between all these things like IaaS, and this diagram will give you a better picture rather than the other one. Here you can see that when you are having an on-premise system, you have to talk about all these things. You have to talk about storage, you have to talk about networking, compute, virtual machine, all these things you have to manage, right? Isn't it? So when it comes to infrastructure as a service model, so you don't have to worry about these things, right? These things will be taken care by the cloud service provider, the storage, networking, and compute. You will have to worry about the virtual machine, these things, right? So when it comes to platform as a service, even the operating system and the runtime environment, virtual machine, everything will be taken care by the cloud service provider. You only have to take care about the data and the access, right? When it comes to software as a service, again, you simply have to talk about the software like Office 365, how to access the data, how to manage it, how to share it, and all stuff, right? So all the remaining things, like, it will be taken care by the cloud service provider. Now I go back to this slide where you have a basic comparison between IaaS, the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So this is the most flexible cloud service, and you can configure and manage hardware, whatever you require, you can configure it. So PaaS means you can focus on application development, and the platform management is handled by cloud provider, right? You don't have to talk about the platform like operating system, right? It is already provided by the cloud provider. And then we have a pay as you go model, pricing model. So that comes in this SaaS. Users pay for only the software that they use, right? On now that there is a concept called serverless computing. This is very important, right? So in Microsoft Azure, there is something called Azure Functions, right? So here you don't even have to think about a deployment, right? So this is a running this Azure function. You simply write a Python function on your system. You can straight away you can deploy that into Azure function. Even using your Visual Studio Code, you can deploy that function, right? And it comes into your Azure portal. All right. So that is a beauty of serverless computing. The cloud service provider automatically provisions, scales, and manages the infrastructure required to run the code. You don't have to think about it at all, right? All the infrastructure, whatever is required for your code, is managed by the cloud service provider at all. And there is another concept called Azure Logic Apps. This is also a cloud service that helps you to automate and orchestrate tasks, business process, and all those things, right? So I'll give you a glimpse of this Azure functions here. So I have this Visual Studio Code here. So this is my VC code. So here, if I develop let's say this is the Azure function we could talk about, right? So here you can create a new function. So here I can click on this, and I can go for a new function here. So I have to choose a folder where I want to create the function, right? So after creating that function, then I can deploy it. Let's say I already have a function which is created using that. And the function, I use the programming language and everything, right? And then I'll be getting the function. So I'll be giving you the function. Don't worry about these things. These are the things which I do in my training sessions, right? So don't worry about these things, from where these things come. This is just a GitHub repository which is grounded in my Visual Studio Code. And here, if I just want to deploy something to this Azure function, you can right click here, and here you can see that I can deploy to this function app, right? So that what happens now, after deploying it, it will come over here. So here you have something called Azure Functions. You can see this function app, so that can be deployed here. You don't have to worry about any managing this thing, right? Everything will be taken care by the cloud service provider, right? I'm not sure whether I'm confusing you with a lot of things, right? But yeah, these are the things that you can get. This is what we call as serverless computing. I wanted to demonstrate everything with an example rather than simply uh, giving you the theory things. That's why I just went to the Microsoft Azure portal right now. Similarly, you have this Azure Logic apps that also help you to orchestrate, automate and orchestrate tasks. So far, I have used this Microsoft Docs to prepare this. I mean, this is already a slide which is available for MCTs. MCTs can use a Microsoft copyrighted slides, and I tell you from where you need to uh, learn. I'll show you the site where you can learn and you can get certified. I can even tell you how to get free certification. All those tips I will tell you, right? So now, before that, we talked about this regions. You might have seen that when I was creating a virtual machine, or when I was creating a machine learning service, I just wanted to give the region, right? Regions and region pairs. Now we'll be talking about that. So what about the availability zones? When I was creating the virtual machine, I wanted to select the availability zone, right? And then the different resources. I have shown you two resources, in machine learning resource and cognitive service resource, right? So these are the resources that are available there. Cognitive one, cognitive resource, all these things you can have under this resource group. You'll have a group of resources, that's it. And there is Azure Resource Manager available, and subscription. I told you, you need to have a subscription, then only you can create all. Right, the latency, but at the same time, there should be a minimum distance, so that even if some natural calamity happens, if one data center goes down, then the other one will be working, and get the services from the other one, right? So that's the beauty of using cloud. All right. So these are the different regions and region pairs available. See, at least 300 miles of separation between region pairs should be there, right? That is very much important. And then uh, region pairs are for what? Actually, for replication of service. I told you just now, whenever some natural calamity or something happens, so the services must be replicated. For that, you have this region pairs, and it is prioritize region recovery in the event of outage. Outage means when something happens to one particular region, it should work with the other one, right? Other region. So updates are rolled out sequentially to minimize the downtime. Why? Because if you roll out the updates to all the regions, what happens? Everything will go down, right? Instead of that, sequentially it will be done, right? After updating one region, it will go to the next. The update will happen in the next region, so that it will minimize the downtime, right? All right. Now, we'll talk about the geographies, right? You can see that it talks about the discrete markets that preserve data residency and compliance boundaries, right? So geography can have more one, two or more regions. That's all. Nothing much about this, right? So geography you can have in America is having a lot of regions. Europe is having Asia Pacific. These are the geographies that you simply the regions you can say that regions when you take the US region itself, you have North Central US, East US, and all this of things will come to this geography Americas, right? Similarly, you have this UK, West Europe, and Germany, Northeast, all those things will come in this Europe and Asia and Pacific, right? The Australia regions in Australia, India, and all those, and Asian places will come to this Asia Pacific region. All right. And it's about the availability options, like you can go for single virtual machine, right? And this is option where you have only single virtual machine, right? But you can also have availability zones, like you can deploy the same thing in different zones within the region, right? You have different zones. You can also have the region pairs. So region pairs will give you the maximum availability, right? Whenever the disaster comes, the maximum availability is provided. So if one region goes down, still the other region will become functional. All right. So I mentioned already about the availability zones. So we can have different availability zones within a region. So I told you what is a requirement of this availability zone. Whenever one availability zone can be, you can also think of it as a data center, right? So whenever one availability zone goes down, and the other one will become functional, right? So these are connected using private fiber optic network, right? So all these availability zones are connected to each other. And then, so these are the different resources available. We have already seen this Azure functions, right? Virtual networks, storage accounts, virtual machines, right? And these are all the resources that you get, right, in the Microsoft Azure portal. So I mentioned about the resource group. It is a container to manage and aggregate all the resources in a single unit. So you can have like machine learning resources, cognitive resources, all those things under one group. So you call it as a region, resource group, right? Resource group. I hope you're getting the point, not getting confused between region and resource group, right? So this diagram will tell you more detail, right? So you have different resources available. So you have an Azure Resource Manager. You can see that the resource manager will take care of all these resources, right? Okay. So it takes care of all these resources. Now, I mentioned about subscriptions. You should have a subscription. An organization have multiple subscriptions, and you can define one for the development, one for the testing, and one for the production. Right? Organizations can have multiple subscriptions available. So each of these, again, can be further divided into, depending upon the hierarchy, you can divide the subscriptions. So each subscription there will be billing for associated with each of these subscriptions, right? You can actually we already explored this Azure portal, right? We have seen all those things, whatever we discussed, we have seen. And there is something called management groups. Management groups can contain multiple Azure subscriptions. You can see that management groups contain this. Here you can see two subscriptions are there, right? Under that, this resource groups will come. So all the resources are combined under the resource groups. So different resources groups, you can have it in different subscriptions, and different subscriptions you can have it in one management groups, right? So that's it. We finished our lecture. I think I took 1 hour, or I don't know whether it's time up. I just have to check. Yeah, it's 5:48 exactly. So now I want to give you an interactive quiz, and I just want to clear your doubts. Whether you have any doubts or any queries, I'll clear you in the remaining 10 minutes. And I have some exciting offers for you, as in the form of some goodies. So that I'll be declaring towards the end. So here we have a quiz. So all of you can attempt the quiz, right? So let me go to that. Am I connected, Lakshit? Hello.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
all right. Okay. So here we can have a quiz. I'll give you the link of that. So it consists of only 5 questions. It is going to be interesting, right?
Yes, sir.
So it takes hardly 5 minutes. So that afterwards, whatever queries you have, you can place it in the chat window, right? So I'm going to give you the link in the uh, maybe I can. Yeah, there's a link which I'm going to paste you there in the window. Yes. All right. So
Yeah, I'm sharing it. Yeah, I'm sharing it.
all right. So the link is available there. So you can, all of you can go to this. And once you're ready, let me know. The lectures, you just go through the comments and please ask them to reply. Once you're ready, please type ready there in the chat window so that we can start the quiz. I can see also people logging in. You just have to click the link. Again, this is anonymous. You don't have to like. Uh, Maybe you can log in with your any name you can give, and you can log in. This is completely anonymous. We are not storing anything. Any of your data. Don't be, you know, uh, don't think that we are storing anyone's data, right? So it is completely anonymous. It's better you give your own name so that we can have a nice and little competition right here. Yes, like yeah, you can see that many people have given their own names here, Shivpal, Govind, and all that is good Vidal, right? So please give your own name. In one of the sessions which I conducted, uh, one fellow gave chief minister's name, and
Okay.
another one another one gave prime minister's name. So please don't do that.
Okay, let's
So
see what type of
yeah.
audience we have this time.
So please try to give your own name. It's just a quiz from the things which we discussed now, just to check your level of knowledge, whether you got something right. I just demonstrated something in the Azure portal. So whether you got some idea what is a resource, what is the resource group, and what is cloud computing, and all stuff, right? So just to check your knowledge, this quiz is all about. This is not to tease or harass anybody. So please join fast, right, so that we can start the quiz.
Yeah,
Yes.
so guys, the link is in the comment box, the httpquiz.com. Join, and again, there is a code. So you can just click on the link and you can just click on the link. The link will open for you. Then you can type your name. And if you want to be anonymous, you can just type some names like anything, like not like Prime Minister or Chief Minister's name, as Ravi sir said, but a legit name. So let's see. We are about to start the quiz.
I
And
think nine people have joined, so, right? We can go ahead, right? So only
yes,
nine have joined. Yeah, I'm going to start. All right. So here we go. You have only 30 seconds. Which of the following choices is in the cloud computing category? Only 30 seconds. Now 20 seconds remaining. 10 seconds. Only 7 people have responded. Less than 7 seconds. 3 people are yet to respond. All right,
okay,
time is up.
okay, okay,
So let's see who is at the top. Yeah, Govind is at the top, right? And this depends upon the time delay, right? If you are, doing it very fastly, then your points will be more, right? Here, six of you have correctly mentioned, right? Only 2 people have wrongly selected. So the right option is that you know the cloud computing. There we haven't mentioned anything about networking as a service, right? We mentioned three models: platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and software as a service, right? So I hope you got the answer clearly. Now we go to the next question, right? Please be ready. Which type of option is in the type of cloud computing?
okay. I must say, sir, like this is the most amazing quiz platform I have ever seen. You have really made a very great quiz. So
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
my
only.
personal experience.
Yeah, I wanted to make it more interactive, but it's for only for 1 hour. And even I like to have hands-on sessions. I don't really like to have theoretical sessions, I tell you.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. All right, the time is up. That was a very simple question, right? I hope who is leading. Let's see. Govind is still leading. No, no, no. Vittal is leading now. Vittal and Govind, Diksha, three of them are having same points. You can see that. And yeah, I'm very much happy that 8 of you have gone for the correct option, and 2 of you have gone for this hybrid and private. So what is there is nothing called distributed cloud, right? We mentioned about private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud, right? So So the right answer is, the question is actually which of the following option is in the type of cloud computing. Okay, so that was the right option, like distributed cloud. All right, we go to the next question. Which of the following choices is in the benefit of using cloud services? Scalability, disaster recovery, high availability, geographic isolation.
I hope you all know the answer because Ravi sir has explained in a very incredible way. I hope you all know the answer. This is very easy one.
Yeah, most of the questions are very easy only.
Yes.
Yeah, time is up. Let's see who is leading. Two people haven't responded. I don't know. Yeah, Vital is leading with 2850 points. In fact, yeah, 2850 points, right? You can see. So geographic isolation, we haven't mentioned about geographic isolation is not at all a benefit of cloud services. Like scalability, disaster recovery, and high availability, these are the benefits of cloud computing, right? So cloud services. Now we go to the um, fourth question. Which of the following is a logical unit of Azure services that links to an Azure account? Yeah, less than 10 seconds. Yeah, time is up. And the right answer is, I told you that when first and foremost thing is to create the, yeah, who is leading? Monica is leading now. Vital is in second position. The first and foremost thing is to create the account, right? Azure account. And second thing is go for the subscription. I'm very much sad that only three people have to correctly answered. So subscription is very much important. I told you can go for student subscription, or as an MCT I have this Azure Pass, and I have this Microsoft Developer Network Pass, or these are the subscriptions, right? So subscription is the thing which is linking to an Azure account. So first and foremost thing is you should have the subscription role. So we go to the last question, right? I don't want to bore you with more questions, so we go to the last question. What is meant by cloud computing? Yeah, it's a simple one, right? Using the smartphone, right? Using the internet. So what is the right answer? What is meant by cloud computing?
2 seconds left, guys. Hurry up, hurry up. Drop your answers.
All right. So time is up. Let's say who has won this quiz, right? So
Let's see the leaderboard. Okay.
yeah, you can see that Monica has won the quiz, Vital in second place, and Harshit in third place. So, like, congratulations. See, this one, all of you have correctly answered. I'm very much happy, right? So yeah, so there'll be prize, right? For the winners, right? I hope. So yeah, I'm going to announce some goodies, right? This you can, if you don't want these things, you can share with your friends also, right? It's not completely free, I tell you, but this is a kind of discount that you'll be getting when you choose some of the coaching materials in an academy. You might have already heard about an academy. I'm a coaching advisor of an academy. So if you go for, if you're interested in this gate, or let's say you are interested in this cat, right? So if sometimes your friend may be interested, right? Here in a what is a specialty of an academy, the top IAM experts will be coaching you, right? It's not like all the experts who are coaching here in an academy are the ones who are already into IAMs and all, right? So you'll be getting, if you are using this referral code RISUCI, you'll be getting this extra 10% discount. You can take a screenshot if you want. So you can share with the students. I mean, your friends also, whether anybody is working. I mean, any course you can choose in an academy, whether it is NEET or anybody is preparing for NEET or let's say IIT JEE exam or anything. So they can use it, right? So any competitive exams, like anything, they can use it. So this may be handy for few, so you can share with them, right? So the code is RASUCA once again. So thank you for attending. And one last feedback I have, which we can give, right? So I'm going to share you that also, right? 1 second, I'll give the link there so that we can. Uh, the link is there in the chat window, right? So yes. All right. So, Lakshit, you'll be sending it, right?
Yes, sir. I'm just sending it. Okay, just a second. I'm sending it.
Yeah.
Perfect. It is working fine, and you can just go through the link and share your feedbacks. So that's it.
All right.
Here's the
So,
link. Guys.
yeah, we can either you can use the code 60398243. It is again anonymous. You can select any option, like, are you satisfied with the presentation? Whether you're satisfied, you can choose yes. If you're not satisfied, you can type no. So whatever is a frank response that they have, you can put there. We have only two slides here. One is this, and one more is there. Only one has responded so far, or whether you responded, I don't know. I'm getting only response from one. All right. So you can also mention, is any problem in responding? I don't know, because normally there don't be any
Okay,
kind of
so
problem.
sir, if we are just the link you have shared, if we are going through that link, it's just bringing us to the expectation one. So,
Yeah.
what's
All
your
right. All right.
expectation from this session? So, can you please look into this?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think it might have been, yeah, changed. 1 second. All right. All right. So I just shared this one only. I don't know. Yes, the link is there. 1 second. Oh, it's the same thing, now. All
Yes,
right.
yes, I
So
got it.
maybe since I haven't stopped the other one.
Yes, sir,
Uh,
that's right. That's right. Okay,
okay.
guys. So the link is live, so you can just give your feedbacks. What how you find the session. If you find the session useful, then please do submit your response. We are just waiting for your response so that we can make some better sessions for you, and we can improve next time. So here is the link. I have just highlighted the link in the session in your screen. So please go through the link. Perfect, perfect. Now we are getting some
Yeah.
responses. Okay.
To be frank, I don't like to take any theoretical session. Everything I like to take in a hands-on manner. But I know theoretical sessions, people can get boring after, let's say, 30 minutes or even 20 minutes. So one more slide is there. You can type how was the presentation, whether it was poor, you can type whatever it is. Your feedback, you can put it there. All right. So I hope you'll be doing right. So yes, now we are getting responses, right? All right. And in case if you want to connect with me, here is my profile link, LinkedIn profile. So if anybody is interested to connect with me, you
Okay.
can
So
connect with
guys,
me.
I'm just
Yeah.
highlighting the LinkedIn profile of Ravi Shankar sir.
Yeah.
You can just connect with him in the LinkedIn. He's incredible person, and trust me, he's the best person who can teach you the cloud concepts in this way. So I personally, sir, this we have conducted lots of sessions. I guess this gonna offend a lot of people, but this is the best session I ever had. I just ever
Well,
listened to. So thank you, sir.
thank
This is
you.
best one.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And we got some questions there. Do we get proxy server also in the networking part? Yeah, it's there actually. So I did not go to that part actually. We can go for that. Then any other questions like uh, can we create any type of VM like Linux? Yeah, we can go for Windows Server also. I think I have mentioned that there in the while creating it. Yeah, nice to get the question. Then all right. So any other questions if you have, we can. I think I have. What is the benefit of using a resource group? Yeah, resource group is simply for collection of all the resources. If you want to apply some rules to specific set of resources, it is easy for you to apply to the resource group, so that all those resources will be getting the same set of rules, right? So that is a benefit of using resource groups. Can you
Okay,
tell the
so
difference between yeah, elasticity and scalability? Scalability means when you want to add more resources, like I mentioned, when you want to add more computing resources, or if you want to add memory. So that's what the scalability is all about. So elasticity means it can be like reduced or increased depending upon your requirement, right? The resources can be it can be increased, or it can be decreased. So that's what uh, then sir, a student sir, can a student also create yeah, yeah, you can create. I tell you, when you log into Azure, Microsoft Azure, there is something called Azure for free, you can give all your details. You can log in with your GitHub account. I hope you have the GitHub account, right? So you can log in with that, and will be getting a free thing. So the URL is there. I'll be pasting the URL in the chat window, so that lecture will be putting it there, right? So the URL, so that you can create a free account here. Okay, you log in with your GitHub, and apply for the GitHub developer pack, so that will be getting 1 year free subscription. And I tell you one more thing. So this is the fundamental Microsoft Azure fundamental uh, course, where if you pass the course, you'll be getting certified in this, and this certification also you can do it freely, right? So, and if you want to have more knowledge about this thing, I'll be pasting this URL also there. There are some options to get free certifications. Probably I'll be mentioning that once again. So we have this, yeah, link also. So here you can get the resources. So whatever we mentioned today, you can get the resources from there, right? Any other questions I missed? I guess I have uh, I have gone through most of the questions, right? All right.
yes, so I guess that's it. We don't have any questions, guys. If you have any questions, then do share your questions in the comment box. Sir is ready to answer your questions. So let's see if you have any other questions. Okay, sir. One more question. Like, can you tell me some basic projects I can start with cloud computing? Just
That
one.
depends upon your area. If you are doing, like let's say you are simply doing a web application, right? So if you want to host it, so obviously you need that depends upon the demand of your web application. If it is if the application is really, if you need it to be scalable, right? And then you can deploy it in cloud rather than having it in your own server. You can save a lot. And let's say you are doing some AI/ML projects also. A lot of services are already available there, like for example, speech services. So if you say something right, so that intent will get identified there. So all those pre-trained models are available in cognitive services, so you can make use of them. So that depends upon your domain, whether you are doing it in AI, or whether you are doing it in deploying it as a web service. So depends upon your domain. You can do any projects there, right? So I gave you two examples. Whether if you want to deploy an application, right, over a web application, you can use it, or you can also do some AI related projects, right? So in that case, a lot of services are already available. You can get the help of it, and you can also develop a machine learning model using machine learning services, right? Yes. Any other
Okay, so
questions?
I guess there we are ready to wrap up the session. So thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. It was a really incredible session. And thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And like, we had a really great fun here. So I'm just gonna wrap up with the Discord link. So do join our Discord channel every Friday. We do a Azure quiz where we give Microsoft Swags to top 5 winners every Friday. Okay, so thank you again, sir. Thank you again for joining in, and see you then, guys. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.